So welcome. So what we're going to do today, we'll do some warm-ups first, and then we'll work out what we're going to do. Very cool. Do my spine. This one's got better. This is the tough one to start off when I did this. It's just to relax the spine, and I can feel my spine moving now, or the ligaments and the tendons around the spine moving. It's bizarre. As I relax all the muscles and the ligaments and tendons around the spine, I can feel it. And it moves like a whip. It starts at the bottom and goes all the way up to the top. Yeah, it's great. It's a great feeling. I like that. Cool. Now we're going to move our hips. We move our hips. We move our knees. So move our knees in circles, and then we move our hips, and then relax your hips. And it feels like that. That's great, eh? Move your hips one way, and then go the other way. Very good. Hips to the side. So we're just moving our knees from side to side. Very good. That feels great, eh? So now we move our hips to move our knees. Side to side. Great. Actually, I hurt my knee during the Christmas time. Doing some Tai Chi, and how can you hurt your leg going slow? But I was actually going a bit faster. I hurt my knee, but it's better now though. But I certainly can't squat down as easy as I used to be able to. But I will do that today, especially. Oh, just let the foot flop and let the knee flop. The other side. Very good. There you go. That feels better. Oh, we didn't do our neck, did we? The next one is the hardest because you've got to let your neck go, and it's you're scared that you're going to hurt your neck, but if you don't, the neck protects itself. So, but the idea of it just letting flopping is actually really nice. Forward and backwards. And then the whole circle's around, eh? Big circles, but you do it with your hips. You do get a little bit dizzy doing this. So I'll go the other way. There you go. Perfect. Now the knee feels good as well. That's great. So we'll bow, eh? Bow into the class for the first time of the evening. Not that you ever bow out anyway. That's a bit of a not thing that happens. It sounds like you bow out, but you can't actually bow out. Well, you can. You can choose not to be part of the monastery school. That's really easy. But when we bow, what we do is we're reconfirming our connection with it, yeah? Well, back on your thumbs. Left hand underneath, right hand on top. Two thumbs together. Cool. Very cool. So what I want to do, which is interesting, I want to teach something that came up in the course. Come up with one of the exercises, came up with a couple of exercises. Just a slight modification of the exercise for you, and I thought it was interesting what we're going to do, and I'll talk to you about it. And it's from the Ba Gua Posture, which is this posture, that posture there. And so the setup, and it's interesting when you watch in a group. I haven't been in a group for a few years now. Well, actually, no, this is the second one I've done this year, but for a couple of years, before that, I wasn't doing them. And being back live again, you notice things differently. And it was interesting what was happening in the same exercise. So in the Bagua exercise, remember we stand, the first one's the 3 body postures out of the Zhan Zhuang Qigong, which look like that, where you have your both palms facing towards the front, that way. Yeah. And you have the foot facing to the same direction, your hands facing, and the other foot's facing directly to the front. So we start off with the feet facing parallel to the front, and we step off. Actually, I'll mirror you, so I'll do it the same side you're doing, so we'll step off to the right. Step off to the right, so the body's facing this way originally. We turn to the side, we step off to the side, and the hands are facing the same direction as the hands, yeah? But in the Ba Gua posture, the foot turns around, so the foot's parallel to the direction we're facing. And I'm going to turn around so you can see this. I'll turn it around so it looks like it should be that way, like that. Yeah, if I stand that way, that's correct. And then I turn the foot around, and I'm facing still across the foot, but my other foot's facing that way. Yep. And I'm standing holding that posture like that. Yep. And so it's parallel to the ground. Well, not parallel, but it's parallel across the body. Now, the 3 different parts to this when we get into the posture. One is the foot's different. So first of all, we change the foot. Then we change our arms. As we stand, the 3 body postures like this, but the Bagua posture, the elbow comes down that way. So you feel like you're condensing yourself into a tighter stance like that, and the hands out, because it's a martial stance that way. And of course, of the legs crossed over, so legs protecting your groin martially. It's fizzing like this, so it's protecting your groin. It's not open like that with your groin open. Now your legs crossed across, so you're shutting it off. And now instead of being like this with the openings under my arms, I've shut them down as well, and I'm standing in this posture. But the big thing is about your chest is to turn your chest around so you're facing the same direction as your foot. So my foot should be facing directly forward. Well, not directly forward because I'm beyond the angle. But if my foot was that way, my chest is going to be facing the same way. Even if I turn my foot, my chest doesn't change, and I'm facing this way. So what you don't want to be doing is facing to the side. You want to come right around. So you're looking that way, and you turn your hips right around like that to here, and bring the elbow down. Yep, we'll try that on the other side. Bring your hands and feet in. So remember, initially you step out, the foot, the hands come up. You move the foot around to parallel. You bring the elbow down, and then you turn your body around so your body's facing towards the right way. Yeah, and that's the most important part, is having the chest and the foot parallel with each other, and and we're facing that way. And we're not doing this exercise from the side. Yeah, we turned right around, so I'm facing that one. Yeah, and it changes the energy inside the posture. Yeah, and we'll do the full set with that, understanding that principle. Yeah. And so having this chest and the difference, and when I'm sitting there from that posture there, and if I've got my chest to there and I've got my chest around and I'm facing my hands, the difference what happens inside the leg is quite remarkable. Remember, we're standing on one leg, because remember there's no weight in this leg, it's just sitting on the ground. I'm standing on the kidney point of the back foot. I'm not even standing on the heel, I'm just on the kidney point, and the toes of course, but the kidney's just, the heel's just touching the ground, there's no weight in it. Yeah. And so this idea of this point is when you're in this, as soon as you turn your chest around to the front, it changes, because you're turning it around, it's also turning around on your hip, but it changes the dynamic going through there, and you can feel the energy traveling through your hip differently as soon as you turn your chest around, and it changes it. So let's do that, and we'll set it up together. So we step off, so we're going to step off to the right, so I'll mirror you. So we turn to the right, step out, the hands come up with the leg, as the leg comes up, the hands come up, and then you place the leg down. Remember, the first part is that all the weight's on the back leg, you're basically standing on one leg. Yeah. Then we're going to turn the front foot around, bring the elbow down, and then bring your chest around. Yeah, very good. And hold that posture. Now breathe in and out 3 times. Just relax. Every time you breathe out, relax. Then we change around, we come around the side. Remember, we're just rotating on the hip. On top of the femur, we're turning on this hip joint. We're turning around. Go to the back. Now, of course, your chest can't face this direction because it's very difficult. Your hands are facing to the back, but all your weight's on the kidney point. The weight on the kidney point doesn't change so much. You still feel the weight on the kidney, but it does move around slightly in the foot, but the weight doesn't stay from where it comes from. You just feel that slight movement inside the toes, but that's okay. Then breathe in, breathe out. and breathe in. And as you breathe out, go deeper into the stance. Take a breath in. Breathe out, go deeper into the stance. So you're moving slightly around. Take a breath in. As you relax, then you can go further. Relax, breathe out, and go further into the stance. So you feel that pressure on your hip joint. That's it, good. We'll come around to the other side. Hands swap over. And we're going to go right around the other way. The same thing, you'll get to a place where the body is a bit stiff. Take a breath in. Breathe out, relax, then you can go further. Do this 3 times. Take a breath in. Breathe out, go further. Breathe in. Breathe out and go further. Good. Then come back to the original stance. And hold the posture again. Remember this time, bring your chest around so your chest is facing the same direction as your hands are. Yeah? Very good. Take a breath in. Breathe out, relax. Good. Bring your hands in. Now we're going to do the other sides in a second. So there's a few things that happen in that as well. So when we're breathing in and breathing out and relaxing, the weight's going to go down, isn't it? So you're going to feel your leg loading up even more. So it's as tight as the leg is standing on that point with one leg as it is. Every time I breathe in, I breathe out, I feel the energy just relaxing. It sinks down into the ground. Of course, it's loading up your leg, so you feel your calf get more pressure on it. Your feet get more pressure on it as well. So we do the relaxation 3 times here, 3 times that side, 3 times that side, 3 times this side. That's 12 times when you've gone. And every time you sink down, and by the time you get back to here in the end, your calf's pretty hot. She feels pretty big and swelled up, and you want that feeling of the connection. Be okay. The pain goes away. It just feels really strong. It just changes after a while, but be okay with that. Yeah. So we step our foot and the hand back in. We're going to go to the other side. So step first, off to the quarter. That's good. First thing you do, bring your foot around, bring your hand around, and then bring your chest around. Now, I just want to we'll come out of this. Now, the reason why you do it this order, there's a reason why you do it the order, because if you do it the other way, if you do your chest first, if I do this posture from here, if I do my chest first, as soon as I move my foot around, see what happens with my body? As soon as I move the foot around, there's a tendency for the body to move by itself. And it's not easy to just leave the body where it is and just move the foot. You can do that, but there's a tendency, especially if you're teaching, there's a tendency as soon as you start moving your foot, then the body comes around slightly too because it's following the foot. Yeah. So it's better to do it the other way around, where you have foot first, then bring the elbow down into the front. I'll just show it that. From there, bring the elbow down. And then once you've done that, then bring the chest around. So I'll show you from the front. I'll do it from the front so it's easier to see. So we step first, elbow down, yeah, and then bring the chest around. And see, I'm going to bring the chest around. As soon as I bring the chest around, it changes what's going on in the hip, round to there, to that posture, yeah. And that's why we do it that 3-piece. So we'll do it together, stepping off to the side. Both feet, both hand, foot first, elbow down, chest back around. Good. It's not an easy stance to stand in too. It's a bit awkward, but it's okay. The body get used to it. The body will get used to it. Good. And stand in that posture. Breathe in and breathe out. Do it 3 times. Good. Then come out to the open side. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, relax and go deeper into the stance so you feel the rotation further. Take a breath in, breathe out, go to the side, more rotation. And then come back to the front, all the way around to the other side. Breath in, breathe out, relax, go deeper. Take a breath in, breathe out, relax, go deeper. Good. Breathe in. Good. Come back to the front. Back to the 3 in and out breath. Bring your chest, make sure your chest comes around. When you come back here, bring your chest around so it's facing towards the hand. That's it. Good. Good. Bring the hands down. Good. Just shake your arms out. Shake your legs out. Good. That's perfect. So there's a lot happening in that. We're going to add some more pieces to that for you guys. Now, there's pieces in this that only you guys know that I didn't teach on the course, because there's a part of this that's a little bit advanced for that, what I was teaching. And that's the bit about the relaxation and how you get back again. Now, if you've done all the classes I did all the exercises in a row. I did the whole set of them. I can't remember where it was, in October, November. I can't remember when it was on the classes. They're there. You can see all the class titles. So we've done this before. This particular piece, I just want to go back to it before we do the piece about the breathing, is that when we do this twist, when we come to the side, I'll just set this up again from there. We twist around to the side. When we're here, the posture, the chest comes around, holds the posture, the elbow goes down first, and then the chest goes around. It's better to do that than the other way. If you put the chest around and then the elbow down, it's different. So do the elbow first, then the chest. When we come around to the side, we've talked about this before. What happens when I move around to the side, and you can keep coming, that all the ligaments and tendons in my hip joint, in this case my left hip joint, because you're going forward to the right, all of those ligaments, tendons are winding up like rubber bands. And as I come around, they wind up. Yeah, and I can feel when I'm sitting here, the tension inside my hip joint and all around the ligaments and tendons. And when I breathe in and go deeper, of course, it winds the rubber bands up more. So go around further, take a breath in, breathe out, go further. Breathe in, breathe out, relax, go further. Every time you relax, you can go for deeper. But when you get to the certain place, you can't go much further than that. That's pretty well locked up in your leg. But you're actually holding the tension there because you're choosing to be there. But if you just let it go, the body automatically just wants to just relax. The body wants to come back by itself. It comes flying back by itself. Now, we've done a lot of work with that. This is such an important piece as an advanced understanding of letting that unwinding feeling, that unraveling of the ligaments is what drives the motion around. So when we're back to here, as we let go, it just comes around and almost just goes around, just floats around the other side by itself. There's a flow-on effect from letting that go, and you wound it up. As I say, the more you wind it up, the easier it is to feel the energy. It just comes back really fast and comes down the other side, yeah? And how you let it go, you just let go your bum muscles, and you'll notice it makes it easier to come around and come back to the other side. So the same thing when we're on this side, we take a breath in, we breathe out, we go deeper. And so we're winding it up again. Take a breath in and go deeper, wind it up a bit more. Take a breath, go deeper, wind it up. Remember, we're only standing on one leg, the other leg's just sitting on the ground. We're standing on this one. And you wound it up. And we're basically sitting on, if I take this leg off the ground, we're sitting on the femur. Yeah, and if I just let that go, it just wants to come back by itself, yeah? It just starts moving around by itself because it's unwinding itself. Well, you want to use that energy. You want to use that energy to come round. And then it comes back to the posture, back inside the posture. When you're back in the posture, straighten up the chest again. Yeah, so we're using that feeling of the unwinding process and learning how to feel that feeling. It's really, really important. It's part of the Qigong. So it's like just turning, when you turn normally like this, if I just turn around the side, it's learning what it feels like just to relax and let it come back by itself. To know what that feeling feels like. Come around, hold the posture, and just let go. Yeah, very cool. I did a bit of work with, on the course, there was quite a bit of letting go. I like to use physical practice to help people understand the letting go principle. So I had people turn their shoulders around, hold the posture, and then let them go, and then come back and let them feel what it feels like to unwind it. Now, not everybody can do that, so this is a practice. And quite often when you turn it around with somebody from their hips, you turn them around, and you say, right, relax, and then let it go. They can't relax, they can't let that go, and then when they come back, they actually drive it back themselves. So the practice of learning what that feels like to turn, hold the posture, and just relax and just let it come back by itself is a practice. And I didn't realize until the weekend that how hard it is for people to do that. I just thought it was, just feel the relax, let go, and you come back. Well, I just realized that not everybody can do that. And it's some people, it's extremely difficult. So then practicing that's really important. So every time for the next little while, every time I do a rotation, I'll remember it. And we'll use it, whatever the rotation is, when we're doing turn engage with the moon, whatever we're doing to get there, relax, and then it come back by itself. And all you have to do is relax all the ligaments and tendons, just let them go, and the body just rights itself. And so I think it's a really valuable practice to practice all the time. Relax. Relax. Yeah. Relax. And you can do this with me, actually. But my feet are just facing straight towards the front, by the way. Come up to the side. Feel the twist in your hips. Relax. And swap hands to the other side. So we're actually going from top hand to top hand. Relax. Swap hands. Relax. Such a great feeling. Relax. Let go, I should say let go, same thing. Great feeling. It's such a nice feeling, isn't it, eh? And let go. And all you have to do is relax the whole body and just let go. So there's a rigidity that's holding us in posture. And you just let the rigidity go and then it comes back by itself. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. And so as I was saying, I've discovered how difficult that is for people to do. I forgot how difficult it is for people to do. I just take it for granted, and so sorry about that, for doing that. The other part was with the letting go, what happens when you let go. So there is a tendency when you let go, when we're round to the side and into this posture, there's a tendency when you just relax and let go, you feel yourself, it lets go, and then you grab hold of it. And you might have felt it, or you might not have felt it, your own body grabbing hold of the energy of that. Because if you let it go, it's just going to come back by itself, and in that whole time, you're out of control in that piece. You're not doing anything, it's the body's doing it for you. You get to watch it. Well, that can be quite scary if you've never done that before. And you'll see, especially the people who teach, you'll see when you come round, they let go and they get to him, and it goes fast to start off, it goes fast, and then it goes slow, and then they grab hold of it and they ride the wave. In theory, we're riding the wave anyway, but grabbing hold of it depends what is driving the grabbing the hold. Whether it's a fear-based thing or whether it's I want to control the momentum and I'm controlling it. When I let go, coming into the other side, I let go and control the momentum. That's a very different thing than letting go and then having to grab hold of it because of fear. Yep. So I encourage you to have that little bit of uncertainty with it when you let go. Let that uncertainty get bigger and bigger. Grow your uncertainty before you even want to touch it. In this case, you don't even have to touch it at all, because once you let go, the body comes around by itself. So you just let it go, it goes around the other side, so it's easy. And I encourage you that piece, and that's not easy to do that. As I say, it's not easy. I went around all the people I was holding them. There was only a few that actually knew how to do that. And this is people that actually train. There was all sorts of, there was Qigong people, Tai Chi people, yoga people, Pilates people in the classes. And just realised how difficult it is for people to do that. And as I say, I take it for granted, and I apologise if I do that. I don't mean to. I just thought that was relatively easy. But then maybe I never be able to used to do that either. I just learned how to do it. So it's just become easy now. But anyway, just apologise for taking you for granted if you didn't know that. So nurture people in that space. And the easiest place to look, the hardest way, of course, is when I go into the side. I've used muscle tension and I've used my ligaments and tendons to load it up. I've used my own ligaments and tendons to bring it round. So I'm actually putting more pressure on the ligaments because I'm getting them to do the work. I'm getting the muscles to pull myself around. So the muscles, ligaments, and tendons all have pressure because I'm using them to hold the posture. And so when you let them go, sometimes the muscles can let go and not the ligaments, or the ligaments and tendons let go but not the muscles. So to let go muscles, ligaments, tendons, fascia, the whole lot, all their connective tissue, let it go at once. I think there's a bit of a practice for that. So you can go from there, let the whole lot go, and then the body comes around and it moves by itself, and have that lovely piece of just let the body move, and you get to watch your body moving without you doing it. And it's like, the more we practice that, I think there's something that lives inside that split second of the letting go piece when you actually go and just ride it. There's something special that happens in that. I read a Rumi poem the other day. Was it the Rumi poem? No, that's a different one I read the other day. No, it was something else. It wasn't from Rumi. The Rumi poem was different. I'll talk about that too if you like. But the other one I read was about the gap between when you have conflict and your reaction to the conflict. And there's something happens in between. There's a gap that happens. There's a space that happens. And I know people talked about this before, but I read it and it was really nice to reconfirm it and thinking about that something happens in our reactions. And sometimes it's just so easy to react straight away. There doesn't seem like there's a gap. And this person was explaining to a psychologist and explained that most people don't even know there's a gap. And there's something very special lives in the gap, and that's choice. You get to choose how you're going to react to that. Instead of being a reaction from an action, there's just a choice, a reaction, choice, then reaction. And so, as I say, most people don't, they're so close together, the action and the reaction so close together, don't even know there's a gap. And the gap in the middle is about choice. You get to choose how you react. And I think that was beautiful. I thought it was a very beautiful analogy of it, of what that looks like. Yeah, so I thought I just want to share that with you. And I think that is to try and grow the gap bigger and bigger and bigger, so you have a lot of space around your choice of what you choose to do. And so you have a lot of contemplation about your reaction instead of the split-second react. There's a space where you go, Well, you don't necessarily have to make that noise, but what am I going to do with that comment that you just said then? Where am I going to put that? Am I going to react to that, or am I just going to let it go? And I think to have that much time after somebody says something, especially says something that might not be very nice, or a little bit down-putting, or a little bit whatever it comes to you at, it'll come in a certain way that just it's not necessarily nice, and your reaction to that, it's useful. Anyway, that's that piece. I'll give you the room one because I hate to say something then not tell you what the rest of it is. Because Mark will ask me, he'll say, "What poem were you reading?" I know he will. He'll message me and say, "Pete, what was that Rumi poem?" The Rumi poem was about that your body's like a guest house, and you might have read this. And this is paraphrasing it because I don't want to misquote him because he's such an incredible hero human being. So that our body is a guest house, and that we have visitors during the day. And the visitors are people coming into our guest house, which people, our interaction with people, our interactions with everything, our interaction with nature, but also our interactions with things that happen in our life, the good things and the not so good, the joy that comes into your life. It's you're the guest house that invites the joy in. You're the guest house that invites in the anger, your reaction, or yours invites in jealousy, or any reactivity, or you're that invites in judgment. And all of these things are part of, and he said, and I'll, as I say, paraphrase it, but they're given to you to help you grow. And when you realize that they're all guests coming to you, and they're all guests in your guest house, and they're all useful, and they all bring you something that you can learn from, but none of them are good or bad. They're just all guests to help you grow, to help you see more clearly. And I thought it was a really beautiful piece of a poem. And I think it's that. And sometimes Chinese medicine's good for this, is to see things that are useful to you, that sometimes on the outside we don't see them as useful. We don't understand why we're getting this, but they are useful because it allows you an opportunity to grow with the situation. If somebody says something, a bit of a rough comment to you, that rough comment is useful to you, because one is you're going to react to it, or you might not, or two is you might go, you could go, oh, that wasn't a bit rough, and you think, gee, years ago if somebody said that to me before, I'd be really angry, but I'm not at the moment. So then it's a confirmation reaction, or if you react or whatever happens to it, but it's useful to you because you realize we're still holding on to something, still on a self-image or self-portrayal of ourselves, still hanging off, and still have a stake about what we think, whether that's a right comment or not. And part of it, of course, is to let it go and just say, well, they have the right to say anything. Like, my choice is how I react to that. And whether they're being disrespectful or not, or whether I actually have to say something, so that's not a very nice comment you just said then. And be really honest with that. Or just say nothing at all, of course. But that's the guest house is for you to appreciate all aspects of that. And I thought He's an incredible way. I love Rumi's poems. I think they're amazing. I love it. One of my favourite ones with Rumi is when he says that you're not a physical body, you just have a physical body. You're not a mind, you have a mind. You have feelings, but you're not your feelings. You have emotions, but you're not your emotions. You're the thing watching that. You're the thing that's inside watching that unfold. Oh, that's such a beautiful thing. It's such a truth, such a Taoist principle. It's also such a principle from the monastery school as well, about not hanging on to that. Anyway, so there you go. So that's come from that exercise. I just wanted to share that with you. And the key was about, the physical part of the key was about the chest, about bringing the hands, is about, once you do the posture and bring your elbow down, was to make sure you bring your chest back round to the front. You don't leave your chest out to the side, because it had a huge difference on the energy travelling up in the leg. And that's what I noticed. I wanted to add that piece to you, which I thought was useful to you. And I'm sure that will help with your practice. If you have any questions about these, please ask, And stay tuned for the beginners class. I don't know when Joyce and I were just throwing ideas around about how we're going to manifest that. Sneeze. For a wish. New year. Get a New Year's wish. What will I wish for? I'm not going to wish for world peace. I'd love it when what are the beauty pageants, the Miss Worlds always say, I want world peace. Yeah, good luck for that. As human beings, I'm not sure if that would ever happen in human beings. We're not the way we're designed. We have conflict. Anyway, any questions, please ask about this. And as I say, stay tuned about the other one. We'll see those come up. That'll happen in the next little while pretty quickly, because when Joseph and I decide to do something, we just make it happen. So I'd imagine we have beginners classes starting soon. That'll be interesting. That's going to be really good for me. This is between me and you guys. It'd be really good for me to go right back to the basics and not go anywhere, and just stay inside the basics and sit inside that place of the simpleness of that, and not digress from that. Stay right in the very, very basic part of the movement and the basic part of the breath, and that's going to be useful to me, and I understand why. Very cool. Have a beautiful day, I'll see you on Thursday. Have a happy New Year. Gong. Cool. Bow to each other.